miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Good evening, everybody. It's Mark Klein hanging out with you on another Blues Warehouse. Thanks for hanging out and joining us here at the world-headquartered EKO Studios, Deer Park, New York. Tonight is like any other night, honestly. The consistency that we maintain with the quality of music, with the bands that come from this part of the world, right up there as usual. We got a band on the stage with us tonight called Buttered Soul. We're going to start with you, Craig Hopping, vocals and harp. Good to see you, my man.
What's going on, dude?
How you been, all right?
I'm all right.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of guys on Long Island that have been pushing me to bring you boys on this stage, and I'm glad we did it. We tried to do it a few times, and we had some scheduling conflicts. We finally put it together. I say we introduce Long Island and all of the world to Buttered Soul immediately. Then we'll come back and chat with you fine boys.
Let's do it.
What are we doing first?
Forecast calls for pain.
You good to go?
Good to go, baby.
Long Island Blues Warehouse. Buttered Soul.
Coffee for my breakfast, shot of whiskey on the side. It's a dark and dreary morning with the clouds covering up the sky. Forecast calls for pain. Forecast calls for pain. My baby's trying to call, and the forecast calls for pain. We stayed up all night talking. She's grown restless. She confessed. She said there's no one new
This week's featured artist, Buttered Soul. Nicely done, Craig. Good way to start a show, I think.
I believe so.
It's good to see you, my man. Glad we finally got you boys in here. Let's start with you and talk about some history with you regards to the amazing vocal on you. You start as a young guy?
No, actually 18, 19.
You were 18?
17. I don't know.
What got you started?
Somewhere in there.
What got you started?
David Gates and bread.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Good influence to have, my man.
Sorry.
Hey, what do you... Hey, as long as you don't say hip-hop or rap or something like
No,
that, I'm okay.
Dude, I'm too old for that.
I'm okay, as long as you
When
don't
I
hit me with
started,
that.
there was none of that around.
You could tell me Tony Orlando and Dawn, I would have been all right.
I wasn't tying any yellow ribbons, baby.
Although you'd probably give that a hell of a version, man. If I had to guess, you'd probably give that a hell of a version. Food for thought. Food for thought.
What do you think?
So in your teens, you start you getting together with some school buddies, forming a project?
It was heavy metal back then.
You started with the heavy metal.
Priest, Sabbath, no AC/DC. Look, hands up in the air in the booth.
Were you frequenting some of those clubs like Cheers and Hammerheads and
Jay Parker's.
you were hitting those places?
Yeah, we played Jay Parker's one night.
All right.
That was cool.
What was that other place? There was February's. Were you February's guy?
I think that was
Nassau
after.
County somewhere, if I remember.
No, we did most of the stuff out east.
Ronnie V's?
Ronnie V's, Miller
Well,
Place.
Ronnie V's turned into Jay Parker's. That's when I was there.
That's what Jay Parker
Okay.
Yeah,
I used to
yeah.
see the Good Rats play there when it was Ronnie V's.
Yep.
Way back when. So your first project right out of the gate, heavy metal.
Sinister.
Is that right?
That was the name of the band.
How long did that project last?
About 4 years, something like that.
What direction you head into after that?
Same.
Another metal? You stayed with metal for a while.
We did a band called Last Stop. It was kind of a mix, but there was a lot of heavy metal in it.
So you doing the long
Then I got lighter and lighter as I went on.
as you got a little older.
Went from Sinister to Last Stop to the Mojos.
Long Island's own Mojos?
Yeah, you got it.
Home Fries?
Yeah, I was the first drummer in that band.
Is that right?
Yep.
Joe Martinez on bass?
Not then. It was Zeke.
Okay. Good bunch of guys. They
was
had a
fun,
female
man.
bass player too at one point,
Yeah,
didn't they?
Miranda was in there when I was
That's
there.
okay. I remember.
Yep.
Very cool, my man. When did you jump into the blues? When did you change direction and head into the soul and the blues and
Mojos.
the Mojos got you influenced?
Mojos changed my life.
Home Fries and the boys, huh?
They changed my life.
Who was the guitar player in that project?
KC.
KC.
Yep.
That's it. Was he in the band at the time?
He came in after me. Yep.
Very cool.
While
They
I
had
was there.
one of them had a luncheonette.
Yeah, Paul.
Paul had a luncheonette.
That's where he got home fries from.
Paul Home Fries Glazer. That's right. It's all coming back to me now. I can't believe you were part of that project.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
In the beginning, and then. I thought he made donuts. That's why. Yeah, well, he made donuts too. And then it was the Straight Jackets. We had a band called the Straight Jackets.
What kind of music?
It was R&B, but it was more towards swing. That lasted probably about, 5 or 6 years.
All right. Very cool.
It was a blast.
It sounds like it was.
If music ain't fun, don't do it.
That's a fact, my man. That's a fact. And you look like you're having a good time up here.
Always.
I say we put you boys back to work. Let's keep it moving and show people what these guys are all about, and we'll come back and chat with you and some of these other fine musicians.
Sounds good.
What are we doing next?
We're going to do a song Bobby wrote called House of Blues.
You good to go, boys? Blues Warehouse. Let's do it.
What's in pain, baby? Stare out looking at me. Now, baby, won't you tell me why you do these things to me? Your friends say you're a teaser, and it's always been your way. Well, it doesn't make it easier or make me want to stay. Everyone keeps telling me it's something me to choose to keep on suffering here in this house of blues. In this house of blues. The first 5 years we lived here, we're as happy as can be. And now you come and tell me she needs something more from me. It's one night I sit here and I stare at these four walls. Well, my world is filled with loneliness. I'm just waiting for you to call. Everyone keeps telling me it's up to me to choose. You keep on suffering here in this house of blues. In this house of blues. This house of blues, in this house of blues. This house of blues. I'm suffering every day. I got 7 rooms of gloom, yeah. Oh, baby, you know I just can't stay. Girl, don't play me for a fool. No, I think I'll be on my way.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, Buttered Soul. Craig. Nicely done as usual, my man.
Thanks, man.
Let me ask you, how long has this band been? How long has Buttered Soul been around?
About 7 years.
You guys have been doing this for 7 years.
Yeah,
with this ensemble of players?
Oh, it was me and Bobby.
Okay.
For a really long time.
On the guitar
and
there?
And then Tommy came in. And then Rick came in. And then I think you came in and then Frankie, right?
No, Frankie first.
Frankie came in? And then you came in.
How long's Frankie G been in the project?
For a couple of years now.
Almost
2
2 years.
years now.
I went to the Brick House Jam and saw him playing.
Patchogue over there.
Yeah. Saw him playing, and I got his number and immediately knew that he was the one for this project.
Who was he playing with at the time?
Nobody. He was just...
Just the jam.
Yeah.
What, a Sunday night thing with
Yeah.
Jim Coleman, sure.
Yeah, yep.
The Sunday night thing that he does.
Yep.
So you go down there, cross paths with the drummer, and
I crossed paths with Frankie G.
and the rest is history, huh?
Right, he's never been the same since.
Let me head on over to Frankie G on the drum kit. How you doing, my man?
All right, pretty good.
It's
Glad
good to
be
see you
here.
on the stage.
Thank you.
I've heard a lot of good things about you over the years. I've seen you at the barbecues, and here and there I've seen you around in the blues circuit, and I'm like, who's this guy play with? And next thing I know, I got you in with this week's featured artist, so I'm glad to have you in here. Let's talk about some history with you. Let's talk about when you started with the kit. Did you start as a little guy?
You know, I started a little bit later. Most kids start, in elementary school and so on. I started a little bit later, like 13 or so. Dad came to me one day and said, what instrument do you want to play? And I was like, well, I'm not sure I want to play one. He said, what instrument do you want to play?
Dad was the influence.
Dad was the influence. I'm third generation. My grandfather was a mandolin player. I've got a 1909 Gibson mandolin hanging on my wall from him. And my dad was a guitar player. And I screwed it up and played the drums. I should have stayed with it. Maybe I should have played the cello.
You screwed it up because you got to take the kid everywhere with you?
Well, I can't play a song around the campfire and impress a girl, that kind of thing.
The small bongos, maybe.
Yeah, man. Poetry.
Let's talk about some early year projects for you. What we do in junior high school days musically.
Like everybody else,
Garage band stuff?
Garage band stuff. Long Island, as you know, and everybody in this room probably knows, Long Island was a hotbed for music back then, with the Zebras and the Twisted Sisters and Rat Race Choir and all that stuff, and I just lived it. You could go out on a Monday night, any night of the week on Long Island, and see a great, great show with lights.
And not have to go in the city, and not have to go to New York City.
And it was probably $2 to get in, if that, and it was just great, and it really got in my blood then. But I diverted. I got married young, had children young. And started
had a little hiatus.
A little hiatus, about 25 years, actually.
All right. Not the first guy to tell that story. You won't be the last.
Exactly. You got to pay the bills, Mark.
No question.
We're still
no
trying.
question.
But, I got into, believe it or not, and some of my friends are going to be, musician friends are going to be surprised at this, but I had a career in law enforcement. Yeah.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
For how long?
25 years. I just retired a few years ago.
Is that right?
So now I do nothing but this. It's wonderful.
You were a Long Island guy?
I grew up in Bayport, Blue Point.
Okay.
I live in Holbrook presently. Yeah, so I'm always been a Long Island guy. But
Very
I
nice.
worked in the city. Yep.
Well, it's good to have you in here, my man.
Thank you.
Let's talk about other projects you were involved in before Buttered Soul.
The only other real serious project, I've always been in, like you said, garage bands and so on. There was a band called the Tall Boys featuring the Allegue brothers, John Allegue and Jeff Allegue. We actually did Star Search back in the day, which I still get.
Ed McMahon, Star Search?
Ed McMuffin, we called him then. Yes. Yes. Yes, that was Ed. Yes.
Sounds like another story for another time.
Yes, it was, and you'll never see that tape. It's been buried, and it'll never come out.
Challenge accepted. I will put my resources to the test and see if I can't locate said tape.
Oh boy, I shouldn't have.
If it exists, there's a good chance I can get my hands on it. I'm going to tell you right now.
That tape is in Jimmy Hoffa's pocket.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I ain't going to find it then. Well, I'll tell you what, man. You make a great addition, a tremendous dynamic to this thing.
Thank you. Appreciate
and I look forward to seeing a lot more of you with the Buttered Soul Boys.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
I say we put you boys back to work, Craig Hopping.
Let's do it
Let's do another one. We'll come back and chat with some of these other fine players. What are we doing next?
We're going to do a Beatles song, but it's check it out.
I'm going to do just that.
You'll be hard pressed to know what it is until you hear it.
Sounds good.
We buttered it.
You boys good to go? Long Island Blues Warehouse, this week's featured artist, Buttered Soul.
Protected by a silver spoon. Now she sucks her thumb and wonders by the banks of her own lagoon. She said she'd always been a dancer. She worked at 15 clubs a day. Though she thought I knew the answer, well, I just knew what I could not say. Didn't anybody tell her? Didn't anybody see? Sundays on the phone to Monday, Tuesdays on the phone to me. So I quit the police department, got myself a steady job, yeah. No, she tried her best to she could not rob. Didn't anybody tell her? Didn't anybody see? Sundays on the phone to Monday, Tuesdays on the phone to me. Didn't anybody tell her? Didn't anybody see? Sundays on the phone to Monday, Tuesdays on the phone to me. Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nicely done. This week's featured artist, Buttered Soul. Nicely done, Craig, as always. Want to talk to Bobby CANOVAS on guitar if he'll
Hello.
lean into that mic. How
Sure.
you doing, Bobby?
Okay, man.
It's good to see you, my man.
You too.
It's good to see you. Let's talk about some history. Let's talk about when you began.
Okay, I actually began as a drummer.
You started with the kit.
Yeah, up until I was late teens, and then I was dabbled with the guitar and took up the actually playing, seriously the guitar after I moved out of my parents' house and couldn't lug a kit around or practice a kit.
Okay.
So
So what age were you when you started growing into the passion with guitar? Late teens, early 20s?
well,
Little later?
I always had a guitar that all the time that I had it, I would say late, early teens.
That's when there was no looking back
Yeah.
to the kit.
Yeah.
The kit was done, the
Well,
guitar.
I played the kit till I was, 19 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gigging actively with the kit?
Oh, yeah.
You playing in bands?
Yeah, yeah.
What bands were you playing?
I grew up in Massapequa, so I was playing a lot with Brian Setzer. We had a lot.
Stray Cats,
yeah,
sure.
a lot of. Well, this is way before that. Stray Cats. We had, some bands together. I played with another guy who's probably been on here, Dennis Phelps.
Name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Why do I know that name? Who did he play here with? Dennis Phelps. I definitely know the name.
Yeah. In a band with John Pandolfo was in that band.
Oh, that makes it okay. Now I remember.
Bass player from Uppercut.
I don't. That now you're making it harder for me. I'm gonna have to research. I'm gonna have to do a little research when I find Frankie G's lost tapes.
Okay, yeah. It's in the other pocket.
All right. So you grew up. You were a Massapequa guy. You grew
Yeah.
up with Setzer.
Yeah.
You must have known another local guy from the Massapequa area. We've had in here a few times. Stevie Cochran.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Stevie Cochran. We've had him.
Stevie.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Another Massapequa guy. Some great talent out of Massapequa,
Yeah, all
man.
right around the same area. It's really crazy.
Very nice.
Something in the water.
Back in the LIR days, if I
Yeah.
remember right.
Yeah.
The Baldwin brothers.
Yeah.
I got into a fight with Stephen Baldwin in the 4th grade.
Did
I
you?
was a Massapequa guy. Speaking of the Baldwins.
Well, you really?
I was the new kid in the school. We lived in Buffalo, moved down to Long Island. Little Stevie Baldwin was in my class, and he wanted to test the new kid in the playground. So he jumped me. Every kid in the playground circled us. We squared off for a few minutes, rolling around. Teachers broke us up, dusted ourselves off, shook hands, and we became friends until 9th grade, and then I didn't see him anymore.
Wow.
But yeah, the Baldwins, unbelievable. I remember being at his house while his brother, Alec, was rehearsing lines with their mom for some low-budget soap opera in New York City at the
Wow.
time, when he was just getting started as an actor.
See, he was in my graduating class.
And their
Alex.
dad was my football coach.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
speaking of which, speaking of the Baldwins, a lot of talent out of Massapequa, man.
Crazy.
Who's the comedian that had
Bob Nelson, Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld?
Yeah.
I remember being in a deli, seeing a picture of him on the wall, and then 2 weeks later, seeing him do a 15-minute thing on cable, being like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Do you remember on Merrick Road, there was Cal Seinfeld? It was a sign place.
How far from John Burns Park was that?
It was east of it.
Okay.
That was his father. Was a sign guy.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Cal Seinfeld.
Okay, I know the place you're talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was the dad. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Let's get back to the music, my man. Let's talk about things that you've done when you started getting serious with guitar. What were you doing in your early mid-20s guitar-wise? Were you
Really?
were you playing in some projects?
I was going out to jams and doing a lot of writing. I have a studio at home, and I would mostly write stuff, and play for my own enjoyment. I never thought that I'd be actually out with a band doing it. at this stage of my life.
Your crystal ball wasn't working at the time.
Yeah, not at all.
All right. All right. How long have you been a part of the Buttered Soul Project?
From the beginning.
7 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Were you involved in any bands before Buttered Soul? To speak of?
Not really.
This is your first real band.
Yeah, well, when I moved out here, like I said, I was just playing for my own, own enjoyment, and would go out to some open mics and stuff. And the first real thing was with Craig.
Good way to start, my man.
Right?
Good. You popped his cherry?
Yeah. Yeah, Daddy.
It's got to happen somewhere. Somewhere along the lines. Might as well be with Craig. Why not? Bobby CANOVAS on guitar. Great addition, my man.
Thank you.
Keep going strong. Look forward to seeing a lot more of you. Bobby CANOVAS on the guitar. We thank you, sir. Craig, let's put you boys back to work.
Yes, sir.
While the clock is young, semi-young. We got time. We got time to keep it moving. We do another 3 or 4 tunes. What are we doing next?
We're gonna do a Joe Cocker song, actually.
Called?
Feeling All Right.
Love it, love it. You boys good to go? Long Island Blues Warehouse. This week's featured artist, Buttered Soul.
Seems I got to have a change of scene. 'Cause every night I have the strangest dreams. Imprisoned by the way it could have been. Left here on my own, or so it seems. I got to leave before I start to scream. Someone locked the door and turn the key. I'm feeling alright. Not feeling good myself. Yes, I'm feeling alright. Not feeling good myself now. Oh, you sure took me for a ride. And even now I sit and I wonder why. That when I think of you, I stop myself from crying. I just can't waste my time. I must keep trying. Gotta stop believing in all your lies. 'Cause there's too much to do before I die. I'm feeling alright. Not feeling good myself, yeah. Feeling alright. Not feeling good myself, yeah. Give me some of that over there. Don't you get too lost in all I say. Is that the time, I really felt that way. But that was then, and now it's today. I can't escape, I guess I'm here to stay. Till someone comes along and take my place. With a different name, and a different face. I'm feeling alright. Not feeling good myself. I'm feeling alright.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, Buttered Soul, featuring Anthony Romano on the keys. Nicely done, my man. Nicely done. Let's talk about the history. Let's talk about when you began. What was the influence for you to play the keys?
I started around playing piano when I was 6. And I started taking lessons around that
Classical?
age.
You classically trained?
Yeah, in the beginning, you start off classical, you do all the method books, you got to go through that whole system. I started doing that. My dad would bring home records every day. I would listen to Stevie Wonder, Paul McCartney, even Linda Ronstadt. It was just a big range of music.
Very diverse collection. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I'm guessing all your friends are out playing. You're in the house practicing.
Pretty much.
You were pretty strict with it at a young age?
There were days I didn't even want to sit down at all and practice, but I was always into it.
You grew into the passion early.
Right.
You grew into the passion early.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about projects for you. What were you doing junior high school days? Were you involved in school projects, garage band type things?
In high school, I was involved in a jazz band.
Touring around the world with some professional band?
Oh, yeah, I wish. But in high school, I was in a jazz band. It was called Encore. And
Okay.
it was cool. It was like a 15, 16-piece jazz band. We opened up for Marilyn Manson on the MTV Music Awards.
Did you?
Yeah, we were marching bands, so we opened up for him. That was cool. That was pretty much our 15 seconds of fame right there. And after that, I was just really playing by myself, doing a lot of gigs on my own. Not really a lot of bands, though.
Phenomenal job with what you do, my man.
Thank you.
Phenomenal.
Thank
Hard
you.
work pays off, man.
Thank you.
How long have you been a part of the Buttered Soul Project?
Probably about 2 years. The funny thing is, Craig, I don't know if you know this, but he contacted me, I think it was MySpace, and he said, I'm looking for a keyboard player. I would want you to do it, Yeah, and at the time I was in a band, and I said, all right, let me check it out. I saw the location. It said Eastport. I said,
You can't knock these networking tools. I can't tell you how many bands I've had in here. It's Facebook or MySpace.
Yeah.
Craigslist. Guys learning about other guys and hooking up with their bands, and that's how they begin.
Yeah, but but the funny thing was, you asked me to do it, and I saw that he came from Eastport. I said, nah, I don't really want to travel to Eastport. So it was about a year later, I got asked to do a gig. It was at the Brick House, which is in Patchogue. And I said, all right, cool, I'll sub for the gig, and I had to learn like 30 songs. So I subbed for these guys, and I said, this is a really cool band. And I said, it's just a bunch of great players and great guys, and you couldn't ask, for a better time. So
you make a tremendous, tremendous dynamic and a great addition to this project.
Thank you very much.
Keep going strong, my man.
Thank you.
Ray Romano on the keys. We thank you, sir. Good job.
Ray
Good
Romano,
job.
my Uncle Ray.
Anthony Romano. I can't. I said to myself, don't call him Ray Romano, and I did it anyway.
My Uncle Ray.
That's why you did it.
In a whole nother genre of entertainment. Hey, it wouldn't be the worst thing to be related to that guy, I guess.
No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't be bad for him to be related to you, more accurately put, I think. Anthony Romano on the keys. Good job, my man. Good job.
I guess you got a new nickname.
Uncle Ray.
Craig Hopping. I know I'm not going to get that name wrong.
Hopefully not.
Let's keep it moving, my man. We're having a good time in here with you boys. I got about 10 degrees hotter since that last one. What a great version. I've had bands in here. I've had about 6 or 7 bands perform that tune over the past year or two, and I tell you, man, that you give Joe Cocker a run for his money with that last one. I'm serious. I know you do Joe proud on that one.
Thanks.
Kick ass as always, my man. What are we doing next?
We're going to go down, hit a little blues with Can't Get Next to You. Down home.
Little Buttered Soul thrown in there for good measure, I'm guessing.
Gut bucket.
You good to go?
Yeah, man.
Long Island Blues Warehouse, Buttered Soul.
I can turn the gray sky blue. Whoa, I can make it rain, baby, if I wanted to. I can build a castle from a single grain of sand. Whoa, I can make a ship sail, honey, on dry land. I'm happy in mind with all those powers I possess. Girl, you got the key to my happiness, and I can't get next to you, babe. Can't get next to you. Can't get next to you, babe. Can't get next to you. Whoa. like a bird in the sky. And I can buy anything no money can buy. I can turn a river into a raging flood. Well, I can live forever, baby, if I so decide. I'm happy in mind with all those powers I possess. Girl, you got the key to my happiness, and I can't get next to you, babe. Can't get next to you. Can't get next to you, babe. Can't get next to you. Give me some of that saxophone. Just by waving my hand. And I can change anything from old to new, girl. All the things I want to do the most, it's just impossible for me to do, yeah, yeah. I'm happy in mind with all those powers I possess. Girl, you got the key to my happiness, and I can't get next to you, babe. Can't get next to you. Can't get next to you, baby. Can't get next to you. Can't get next to you, baby. Can't get next to you. Can't get next to you, baby. Can't get next to you.
Oh yeah. This week's featured artist, Buttered Soul. Buttered Soul. Oh, by the way, Buttered Soul. Nicely done, Craig. Craig hopping vocals and harp on that one. Good job, my man. Let's talk to Rick Rosenthal on the bass, if we can, for a second or two. How you doing, Rick?
I'm doing real good, thanks.
Holding down the bottom end real well, my man.
I'm a low light.
Supporting those sunglasses pretty good, too, I might add.
Oh, yeah, it's dark in here.
You need a hat. You need a hat to go with it.
Hat won't stay put.
Well, that makes sense.
Too much hair.
You can make something work.
This is my hat.
Little pins, pin it down, hold it in.
Yeah, I got
Food
hair.
for thought.
We
Food
got
for
some
thought.
hair.
While I'm doing that research on Frankie G's back tapes, we'll see what we can do on finding a hat that'll help you out.
I'll give it a shot.
Rick, let's talk about the history, my man. Let's talk about when you began musically. Did you start young, or did you start in your teens, like most of these guys?
Yeah, I was about 13 years old when I started, and
The common thread continues with this project.
well,
I'm waiting for someone to say when I was 3. We'll see what the sax man has to say soon.
I had a cheap little Japanese electric guitar, and we went down to visit Grandma, and I just had one of these crummy little stereos because we were poor, and you couldn't hear any bass. We went to Grandma's, and she took us out to buy us a couple of records, myself and my brother. I got Beatles 65. He got the Chipmunks. Now, Grandma had a big console that had big 12-inch woofers in it, and we put on these records, and he puts on the Chipmunks, and all of a sudden, whoa, it was bass intensive. I was done.
You dug that.
Game over. I went back home, I restrung my guitar with 4 strings, and I was on my way.
That was the beginning of the end for you.
Well, then I was a paper boy, and I saved up, and I bought myself a Ventures model Mosrite bass. I love the Ventures.
The very first, huh?
Oh, yeah. I still have it.
You still gig with it? At home? Horsing around?
I play around with it every now and then.
You're still a paper boy.
There you go.
Hey, whatever you got to do to pay the bills, man.
Yeah, that was
You know,
it.
it's hard to be a working musician on Long Island and be able to pay mortgage and all the house bills. Let's talk about what you were doing before Buttered Soul. Let's talk about some other projects you were in.
Well, like any kid, I wanted to be a rock and roll star.
Okay.
So I hooked up with a couple of friends, and
You're not the first guy to tell that story. You won't be the last either.
Of course not. And we used to play out around the circuit, Hammerheads. I remember that pretty well. We played a couple of gigs in the city, Max's Kansas City. We did, downtown. What was that place in the village?
Kenny's Castaways?
No, they
Bitter
closed.
End?
CBGB's.
Oh, CBGB's.
CBG. Oh, yeah, we were classy.
Did you do any of the Dan Lynch's back in those days?
No, but what happened is they had us play there. It was, I think, 2 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. You know?
That's when your set started.
Yes.
Right.
So, you know, we played. I got back out to the island, packed up, and went back into the city to go to work. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
I can't do that anymore.
Paying the dues, my man. Paying the dues.
Yes.
Let's talk about how long you've been involved in this project, Buttered Soul.
About 6 years.
You're one of the founding guys.
Well, it was really Bobby.
Well, it started
and Craig.
7. Okay.
Well, what happened is I collected all these basses over the years, and I got them sitting in a closet, and I just hadn't been playing very much. So I moved out east, and I went to the local music store, Eastport Music Scene.
Okay, sure.
And I spoke to the guy who owns it, Tom, and I said, you know, where do you play out here? You know, where can you find an open jam? And he's like, you any good? And I said, well, I can hold a groove, you know. And he said, all right, well, you know, I got a friend of mine who happened to be these guys. And he said, they're looking for somebody for a bass player. And with that, Bobby walks in. And we switch numbers, and here I am.
Here you are.
Here we are.
Timing is everything, my man.
Yeah.
Rick Rosenthal on the bass. We thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
Kick-ass job. Great dynamic.
Thank you.
Great dynamic. Let's grab on the sax, if I'll head up to the guitar player's mic, Mr. Tom Mineo. How you doing, Tom?
All right, having fun.
Tom, let's see if you're going to break the common thread.
I started when I was 3.
Seriously?
No.
It sounded good. It sounded good. You were 13, weren't you?
No.
How old were you?
20.
Seriously?
Seriously, yeah, I played trumpet in grade school through high school. I picked up guitar at 15, but I didn't pick up the sax till I was 20. I never heard anybody play the sax well because I only heard the people in the band at the school. I couldn't figure out why anyone would want to play such a squeaky, horrible instrument till I heard someone play it well, and it blew my mind. I said, I gotta do that.
Who'd you hear that blew your mind? Do you recall?
Yeah, I'll tell him. It's a friend of mine, Mark Gatz. We went to Riverhead, the art school up there, and there was a jam, and I heard him play. I said, holy cow, man, that's what that's supposed to sound like.
And that's what grabbed you.
Yeah.
Still dabble with the trumpet?
No, I gave that up like immediately when I picked up the sax. I rented a sax, bought a fingering chart, and taught myself to play.
Very cool, my man. Very cool. All completely self-taught?
I had lessons for about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly. I was in California for a year, and the guy he mostly focused on reading.
Let's talk about projects before Buttered Soul.
Well, I was in the Straight Jackets with Craig. That's how I met Craig.
Okay.
That was an awesome band. We did a lot of, like he said, we did a lot of swing, a lot of like Louis Jordan type of stuff, and a lot of R&B. So that's like the first time I, being a kid on Long Island, I grew up, listening to rock and roll and that type of thing. I never even heard that stuff till we started playing it, and it kind of took me in that direction.
Appreciated it right from the get-go.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Awesome. The horn sections, the singing, the vocals, the harmonies, I love all that.
You make a great addition to this project, my man.
Thank you.
You sound great with your contribution to the Buttered Soul project.
Well, I tell you, these guys make it easy to play. It's just they set up a groove that's a mile wide, and it's a thrill to be in it.
You 6 guys have a great chemistry together. You work great together, but my question is, do you all get along?
We hate each other.
Listen, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some, the Commitments. You ever see the Commitments? Yeah. I get that in here with a lot of bands. We start the video, before we start the videotape, guys are fighting, and you think there's going to be a few fist fights occasionally, and action. Yeah, and, it's all smiles and great chemistry and great music.
We all get along.
And then the show's done, and in the parking lot, someone's getting ready to have a fist fight.
He's got the longest ride to rehearsal. It takes him... Just gotta roll out of bed. Yeah, it takes him all the
You
time.
practice at his house?
3 minutes to get to my house.
Okay.
Not even. 3 minutes. That's if he's walking slow.
I liked it so much that I bought a house next door to him.
All right, listen. It's like G.E. Smith, the old guitar player from the Saturday Night Live band. He lives out in Amagansett, and he plays at the Talk House like once a month, and it's like a 2-minute ride to his house. Yeah, right. Guys that like to roll out of bed and take a 10-second walk to work. So I can I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. Craig, please share with us the website so people can follow this amazing ensemble. Is there a site people can follow this band?
We do butteredsoul.net, and then we have Facebook is where we do a lot of stuff.
Okay. Great networking tool, man.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a Buttered Soul Facebook page?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
it's just go to Facebook and search Buttered Soul.
That's it. Yep.
And you'll dates and clips and
yep.
all upcoming things you got.
Absolutely.
Any upcoming shows to speak of that we can talk about now? Off the top of your head?
We got one actually Saturday at East End Sports Bar over there, a new place in Manaville.
Okay, and you guys do the barbecue and pat choke every so often, right?
Barbecues, yep. We're doing, what's the place over there in... No, Hopog. Oh, yeah, we're doing Napa Tandies. And
the grill room.
The grill room we're doing. We're
Nice.
doing Napa Tandies. We're doing Dockers every Saturday during the summer.
Very cool, very cool.
Out on the Dune Road.
Facebook, Buttered Soul, and you'll see what these boys are all about. We got time for 2 more, Craig. Let's do another one. We'll come back to our goodbyes, and then you boys will play us out. What are we going to keep things moving with?
We're going to do a song called I'll Go Crazy.
Long Island Blues Warehouse. We're going to keep it moving with Buttered Soul.
If you leave me, I'll go crazy. If you leave me, I'll go crazy. 'Cause I love you, oh, I love you too much.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, Buttered Soul. We got to thank on the keys, Anthony Romano. Thank you, Anthony. We got to thank on the bass, Rick Rosenthal. Thank you so much, Rick. We got to thank Frankie G back there in the drum kit. Bobby CANOVAS on the guitar.
Thank you.
Tom Mineo on the sax. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Craig Hopping, vocals and harp. Craig, thank you so much, my man.
Thank you for having us.
Give us the Buttered Soul site one more time.
It's going to butteredsoul.net and then Facebook Buttered Soul.
Very cool. We thank you guys so much for making another great contribution to what we do here on the Blues Warehouse. So we thank you so much for that.
Appreciate you having us.
We got to thank EKO Studios. Please remember to check them out at ekoproductions.com. Remember, they are the official studio of the Long Island Blues Warehouse. For the Long Island Blues Warehouse, I'm Mark Klein at liblues.com. Thanks for hanging out week after week, seeing what we do here at EKO Studios. Craig Hoppin'?
Yes, sir.
You're going to play us out, my man. What are we finishing up with?
We're going to do Love the One You're With, but we buttered it up a little bit as we do.
Looking forward to it. Please say goodbye to this week's featured artist, Buttered Soul.
But if you're down and you're confused, you don't remember who you're talking to. Concentration lives away, 'cause your baby, she's so far away. And there's a rose in the fistic love, and the eagle flies with the dove. And if you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with. 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 But don't be angry and don't be sad. Don't sit crying over the good times you had. There's a girl, she's right next to you, and she's just waiting for something to do. And there's a rose and the fisting glove, and the eagle flies with a dove. And if you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with. 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 Turn your heartache right into joy. She's a girl and you're a boy. Together, and baby, make it nice. You ain't gonna need no more advice. And there's a road